There was once a farmer named Rajan. He lived in a small village that had seen more droughts than harvests. The soil was dry, the wells were empty, and every planting season felt like a gamble against nature itself. Rajan had grown up watching his father and grandfather struggle with the same problem. Not enough water, not enough rain. Each year they prayed for clouds that never came, and each year another family left the village behind, chasing work in the cities. But Rajan refused to give up. He wasn't educated. He didn't own big machines or land. But he had something more valuable: determination and an unshakable belief that things could change. One summer afternoon, while helping a neighboring farmer dig a trench, he noticed something. The deeper they went, the more damp the earth became. There was water, hidden, trapped beneath layers of soil, unreachable by traditional wells. That night, Rajan couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about that damp patch of earth. What if they could bring that underground moisture to the surface? Not through expensive machines, but through the power of gravity and smart irrigation. The next morning, he started experimenting. He dug small channels from the nearby dry riverbed to his fields. He lined them with stones to prevent erosion. He built shallow pits around his crops to catch rainwater whenever it fell, even the smallest drizzle. His neighbors laughed. "Rajan's building rivers out of dust," they teased. But he didn't mind. He knew every idea sounds crazy until it works. Weeks passed. Then, one morning, tiny green shoots began to push through the dry soil. While other fields still cracked under the sun, Rajan's land showed signs of life. By harvest season, his small farm produced enough food to feed his family and share with neighbors. Word spread quickly. People came from nearby villages to see his farm, the one that stayed green even when the rain forgot to fall. They asked how he did it, and Rajan showed them. Not for money, not for fame, but because he believed every farmer deserved a fair chance at life. Soon, more and more farmers followed his method. They built channels, rain pits, and simple water traps. Together, they began to restore the land that everyone once thought was lost. A few years later, government officials visited Rajan's village. They were stunned. Crops grew in places marked unfarmable on their maps. They invited Rajan to speak at agricultural workshops. For the first time in his life, he traveled outside his village, not as a poor farmer, but as a teacher. He shared his story with others. His model spread to hundreds of villages, and before long, national news picked it up. Local farmer leads green revolution in drought zone. Rajan smiled when he saw the headlines, but fame was never his goal. He just wanted no child to go hungry again. Over the next decade, his community transformed. Farmers who once fought over water began working together to preserve it. They built reservoirs, they planted trees to hold the soil, and they turned a dying region into one of the country's most productive farming belts. Rajan never considered himself a hero. When asked about his success, he would simply say, "I didn't change the land. I listened to it." Years later, when Rajan passed away, his funeral drew people from hundreds of miles away. Farmers, teachers, scientists, and even government ministers. They all came to honor the man who taught them that hope, when planted with persistence, grows into something powerful. Today, his village bears his name, and the irrigation model he created is used across the nation, feeding millions of families every year. From one man's quiet determination came a revolution that changed the destiny of his country. And it all began with a farmer who refused to give up on the land that raised him.